Ram Belar and Jason Gallo Gaffner are two musicians from Los Angeles. They have a band, Limon Limon, and have composed a lovely song titled Origami. They asked if I would create a video as a collaboration using origami images to accompany this song, and I did. What follows is a chat where we share thoughts about the collaboration, the creative process, origami, and music. I hope you enjoy it. So here we are with Jason and Rand, and we are going to be having a conversation about their music, their upcoming song that is about to be released. And I want to welcome to this space and I'm very excited to be talking with them because we together we did a collaboration. They wrote a lovely song called Origami, and then I did a video to go with the song. So we want to have a conversation about how all that came about. So let me ask you first about yourselves, about, if each one of you tell me a little bit of background and where are you from, where are you located, etc.
Jason, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I am from Northern California originally, so I'm born and raised California, and then have been in LA now for a little over 10 years, doing music. And I think Rand and I met maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, online, and I was working on some stuff, and we were kind of shooting each other emails, working remotely because he was still in Seattle at that time. And I had just finished up working on my own EP that had come out, and yeah, we just kind of liked what each other were doing. And then Rand, he was moving to LA and staying with one of his friends, and so we just kind of linked up there and started working on some stuff. And at that time, we were kind of doing more like almost like Bruno Mars kind of style music, which we still love. Yeah, I think it was just one day I came over to Rand's place and we were working on this stuff, and I had been listening to Empire of the Sun, which is very upbeat, like good vibe, kind of indie pop, indie rock music. And I don't know, I just felt really inspired by it. And I think I was just like, we should just start a group that's kind of like good vibe music. And Rand's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we literally just did it. And then we just,
and that's how it came together.
Yeah, literally that easy.
Wow.
And yeah, we just I think the next day I just wrote down like, it had to have been, I don't know, like 100, 200 names. Yeah, like so many names on a page, and Rand did the same. And then we just kind of went through the names, and then I forget, I'm pretty sure Rand like kind of connected the dots to create the name.
He had in his list, he had the name Limon Patrol, and then right below it was the name Jimmy Jimmy. And I really like Limon because it means so many different things in different languages. For some countries it's lime, for some countries it's lemon, for some countries it's both. And so I was like, what about Limon Limon? And he was like, that's perfect. And I think that it encapsulates the music that we try to make, which is kind of a feel good, a day at the beach, a day at the park, you're on vacation, the sunshine, you're driving in the car, and it's a nice day. I think that's kind of what we want to make people feel when we make our music. And living in Los Angeles, it feels like every day is perfect inspiration to make that kind of sound.
Well, you succeeded, because when I heard your piece, Origami, it was like, man, I was thinking of the Jersey Shore and I could see the beach, and I said, this is going to be a summer hit. This is just so fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really wonderful.
Yeah, and you have to actually, John was the one who, or is the one who's more inclined to music in this partnership here. So he told me, this is a very nice little song. Pay attention. We have to do something. So he was the one encouraging Leila to make the video, to make something out of it. And so that's how
Thanks,
it.
John.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome.
Well, we love your work, and Rand, I think, was really excited when he found you guys, and we just our music is feel good, and I think, like Rand was alluding, it's all about like bright colors and travel and like bringing people together. And I think because of our name as well, like we personally are very inspired by like world music and a lot of different cultures. So like on our album, which is coming out this year, our debut album, there's a lot of inspiration from like salsa and like cumbia and bossa nova and all these kind of genres that are huge in other parts of the world and have these incredible musicians, but for whatever reason I think they kind of stay in their countries a little bit than other music. But as pop producers and writers and musicians, we love bringing in the things that like we like to play and listen to and into more pop centric music. So I think people, if they like those genres and they like just a little spice
Yes.
in their music, they'll like some of the stuff on the album. And I think Origami is not as much of like the world music influenced one of some of our songs on the album, but I think that one we really both like it because it's just a very sweet song. It's very from like a music production standpoint, it's not like overdone. It's just like some really
No.
great sounding guitars, some great sounding drums, bass, keyboards. Like it's just all like from an arrangement standpoint. And I think Rand can speak to this because he loves arrangements. It's just a very concise and simple arrangement that really works in our opinion.
Well, you could imagine sonically that someone, with just a couple instruments at the park playing a version of this while you're sitting there folding up some colored paper and daydreaming. I mean, that's kind of what we were aiming for. So we got a lot of really positive responses playing the song for people, and we decided that we wanted it to be the first single on our album. And then, trying to find the community where people are making origami online. It was really easy to find you guys. Typing in origami, going on Reddit, people were talking about you, and searching on YouTube some of the first results. So it just kept coming up. Your name kept coming up. And it was just I think you were the very first like name on the list. So it was awesome that you guys loved the song. And I think just connecting the music community and the origami community, especially for a song that ties those together, I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, it's excellent. And as a matter of fact, among our community and the membership that we have some people who are musicians and they love music and are players. So to make a connection between these two disciplines is just wonderful. That is something that I am very excited about. So you found out through us through making a Google search, and then. But I want to ask you about the song itself. Who wrote it?
Great question. Jason and I wrote it with our friend Becca.
Together. Okay.
I think it was like maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh.
And we just were three people in a room making a song, and that it was just it's kind of a love song. I think
exactly. Yes.
when people look at watch your videos, they talk about the comments, oh, your voice is so soothing, and I am doing this and thinking about something else. And I think that's kind of what's cool about origami, is it allows your mind to kind of wander and ruminate on ideas. Maybe it's something romantic, maybe it's some sort of dream or other creative endeavor. But I think that is kind of the inspiration, is that you're sitting and doing this thing that's very zen and relaxing, but your mind is allowed to kind of wander and daydream.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you about a little bit about the process of creating a song. You say the
Yeah.
three of you got into a room and started. What came first? The words, the music, the a little bit of each. It puzzles me. I'm sure the creative process is always, working from patches of here and patches of there. But how did it go for you?
Yeah, I think it started with Rand, the kind of the keyboard piano part that starts the song. I think you came up with that just on your own one
Yeah.
day. And then a lot of times how it works is like, because Rand plays a few instruments, I play a handful of instruments, and then sometimes we both have recording stuff at our house, and then we have our studio as well. And so we just kind of we'll come up with these ideas, and then he'll play me ideas, I'll play him ideas, and then if we really like an idea, then we kind of latch on to that and work. And so he had this piano thing that was really cool, and I believe it was just piano and like a very basic drum beat, if I remember correctly.
It's just a little tambourine and the piano. So if you listen to the song and you hear the
Mm,
intro, the very first
right.
thing you hear, that was kind of really the idea that I'd come up with, this little kind of like glassy sounding piano riff and a little like right? And that's all you need. If you add too much, it makes it harder to kind of write and fit the rest of the ideas in there. And so Jason and I, we come up with all these little vignettes, all these little ideas, right? And we put them in a folder. And then if it's him and I, or we bring in another songwriter or whatever, we'll sit and we'll play through a folder of different kind of things and whatever we're feeling like that day. And that day kind of felt like a sitting at the park
Yeah,
making
it was a nice
origami
day.
kind of day, right?
Yeah.
The music kind of paired with that so nicely. And then, people start throwing out ideas and melodies, and it's really a songwriting in the moment is such a collaborative experience
Mhm.
because so, Jason's singing this idea and Becca is writing this thing down, and I'm saying, well, what if we do this, right? And then, an hour later, you have kind of a song concept, and you just kind of iterate from there. You build around, to me, the important parts, which are the song concept from a lyrical standpoint, and then the composition, the chords, right? All the other stuff is just kind of helps fill it out, right? But you
Yeah.
really have to make sure that those core elements, right?
Mhm.
What will people care about? What do you care about? Are the chords good? If you care about the song and the composition is cool, all the other stuff will find a way towards the end of the process. So I think I will say every song starts differently. Sometimes
Yeah.
Jason will be like, I have this cool idea about a white lighter. We should write a song about a white lighter, right? And like there's another song on our album
Yeah.
that is about a white lighter, right? Or you hear a piano riff and it inspires you to write about origami. So
So with this particular song, I remember that it was a really nice day. It was it was, I think, spring or something in LA. And we've written other songs with Becca, who's a great songwriter here. And Rand had that lick, and I think everyone, when we were in the studio, because like Rand was saying, we have a folder and we'll kind of just play through stuff, and whatever we're in the mood to write to or work on, that's like what we'll go for. And we both, Becca and I, were like, let's do that one. um and I think, like Rand was saying, sometimes it just starts with one little idea. And I remember being like, I had this very specific image of someone, just like, because it was such a beautiful day out, I was like, we should write a song that like reflects that. And I just remember having this image of this person like in the park, right? Like just sitting there on this beautiful day, daydreaming about love. And so
Mm,
I think that was kind of where we started with. And then I don't know if it was who it was. It was Becca, Rand, or I, but somehow we just like had this idea of like working in origami to the song, because sometimes it's fun to just take like abstract things and then like craft it into a song that makes sense. And so then it was kind of like we took that image of concept of that person like sitting in the park on this nice day daydreaming, and then we took the origami and we kind of paired those together. And so it's just, yeah, it's kind of a nice song about love that's very sweet, and I think the music reflects that as well, with like the instrumentation and a lot of the oohs and the background vocals and harmonies kind of hit you, you know, in your heart center a bit. And
A
yeah,
lot,
I think
actually.
it came out great. And Rand actually, he's a big ooze guy. He loves ooze, and me as the singer, I'm, you know, like we're recording all these vocals, and Rand's always like, more ooze, let's do
More
more ooze.
ooze.
And like, you know, we'll be recording for an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh my God, more ooze, you know, like. And so on this one though, I think he had this great idea to do all these ooze in the pre-chorus, and we started out with only a few, I think. And oddly, on this one, I was like, let's do even more, even more, which
ooze.
is, I'm not the ooze guy. Rand is the ooze guy.
Oohs take a while because you start with one ooh, right? And that's not enough. You end up recording yourself
Stacking them.
on different
A lot of them,
kind of
yeah.
melody lines, 10, 12, 16 ooh stacks, right? And then the part will change and you'll do another 16, right? So
Yeah.
it's 16 different versions of you singing ooh blended together, and it sounds like this big kind of
Yeah.
like ooh choir in the background.
Right.
And on this one, I think it worked really well because it's in the pre-chorus, and there's like not a ton going on with the instrumentation, so it really comes in this like Beach Boysy kind of way, which I think is really cool, and it definitely is like a nice feeling, and it matches that feeling of nice day and daydreaming and love. So I think I'm really happy that we went like pretty hardcore on the ooze, because I think it ultimately really worked like well with the song. So shout out to Rand being obsessed with ooze.
So do either of you have origami in your background, or was it just like an idea that floated in and
I grew up making a lot of origami. I don't know
oh,
about you,
okay.
but like
Oh,
my sister has all these origami books, and just doing the little frogs that jump and the cranes and the fortune tellers. It was just it's such a Zen activity
right.
for someone for any age, you know. And it,
Absolutely.
especially like, you know, I remember like in, you know, at school there'd be like kind of like downtime, right? And there's just, you know, there's always paper around, and so being somebody that can fold up and create something cool out of seemingly nothing, a flat piece of paper. That was always it brings a lot people joy, and it's just a really peaceful, cool activity. So I've always been a fan. I think that like whoever came up with the idea that the song should be, you know, incorporate this concept of origami. I mean, I was very excited about it.
Huh.
How about you, Jason? What is your experience with origami?
I've definitely made some before. So where I grew up in Northern California is definitely a little hippie kind of area. So we in school, and like I had a lot of art classes. We definitely did a few like origami classes. And I remember in elementary school, I went to this school called Dunbar, and it's like literally in Sonoma, and it's like, well, Glen Ellen technically, but and it's literally like in the middle of nowhere. It's like this beautiful place. If anyone's from up there, they'll know what I'm talking about. But it's very hippie. It's like you go, and we have the big garden that we would grow things, and it's very rural up there. So I forget which grade. I think in like second and third grade, we had a pretty extensive origami art thing, which was pretty cool. So I definitely have some from my childhood origami little things sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, we all
if I had to do it now, I would fail miserably making one, but
no, it doesn't matter. But I'm interested in the origin. And we all, as children, folded something. There was one first piece, and I remember clearly what my first piece was. And basically, it was one piece, and then maybe another one. And through many years, I didn't do anything. I rediscovered it when I was an adult. So, so it was just one thing, a little traditional boat. What was for you? What do you remember folding first, or
To
an early
me,
fold?
the what comes out in my mind is the frogs,
The
because
frogs.
and those always, like, you always save those, right? Because I mean, and the more that you make them jump, they stop jumping quite as well, and you have to make a new one. That just like, I think to make something that you can interact with is so cool.
Right, right.
Layla's youngest
Definitely.
brother, Layla's youngest brother used to fold frogs and then race them. So he'd line them up
Oh, that's
in
great.
a line, and then he would jump one and then the other, and he would have a race.
Yeah, but
That's so funny.
the whole thing is that he assigned a member of the family to each one of those frogs. So this was dad, this was mom, this was Layla, this was all his siblings. So he would raise them, and then he would become so excited for whoever won, and he would come running and say, "You know what? You won! You won!" And it was our frog won.
That's great.
That's funny.
What
Well, I
about
think you. I'm
Jason?
sorry, Layla, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Randall asked the frog. Do you remember more
Yeah,
or less what
the
was your
definitely the crane. I think that's like
okay?
the famous
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
And then like these little more simple flower ones.
right. Yeah.
Ooh, and there was a ball that I remember my sister used to make these balls that she would blow up. And I
Uh-huh.
always thought that that was so cool. And her teaching me how to do that, and you know, with the special paper. If you do it with conventional paper, it doesn't really work as well,
Blow
especially when you're doing the one that you blow up with air. So I like that is just such a distinct memory in my mind.
up. To tell you a little bit about the process of the creation of the video. I
Please.
was it took a little time of like incubation because I couldn't visualize in the beginning, like, what do I put to this? No, I thought something that had to do with stop motion, but I had to listen to it a few times and then let it rest, and then 1 week later listen to it again, and then finally I said I'm going to. I started to have this clarity that it was a love. It's about love, about longing for love, about uh, how the dreams of being with this other person or meeting this other person. So in that regard, then I started to get the images, and I use images that I have photographed in the past, but I created only a few ones that are new. But
The balloons,
I
for example, were from Albuquerque,
the
the
balloons,
balloon festival
yes.
in Albuquerque.
Very cool.
Yes, yes, I went to Albuquerque for an origami convention, and they happened to schedule it at the balloon festival because actually everybody's outside, and then there is room in the hotels and in the conference rooms for people to have the origami convention at a price that is not exorbitant. So they schedule it for that time of the year. And a few years, like 2015 or 14, something like that, I went to Albuquerque, and that was part of the conference, was all decorated with balloons. And so that was actually John's suggestion. Like he said, there has to be a balloon there. There has to be a balloon there and a blue sky. And I had my photographs, and that was one of the first things that I pulled as an idea. And then the bee, and then I realized it was
And
little.
cocoa in the basket. You have to. Coco ended up in the basket, and if you're floating, when she had a little
Yeah.
yellow balloon floating, and Coco was in the basket. Or
Yeah,
cat.
yeah. We have a little cat whose name is Coco, and she is the queen of this house. So Coco had to appear
Make an
there.
appearance.
I love it. I'm excited for everyone to see the video.
Yeah, I am excited too. I have been holding my reins because I don't want to show it before your official release.
Coming up
So
soon.
Layla, you have
Yeah,
to
Coming up very
tell them
very
about
soon.
Heather. You have to tell them about Heather.
yes, I have been having to do some physical therapy, and one of my therapists, the first time that I had a session with her, I was wearing some origami earrings, so she got very excited. You do origami, and so we started talking about the origami thing, and she said, I have to show you my outfit. I did an outfit for Halloween once. I wanted to dress myself as a beautiful day. and that was my disguise. For that, I did this crown of origami fans, and I came up with the idea. So that was my rainbow. And she showed me the photograph, and I filed it away because that was like 2 months ago. And then when I was doing the video, at some point I was like, I like to see an image here that like another human being, no? Because I wanted to hint the human presence, other than the song and the words and all that. I wanted the image of the human being. And then I had told her, maybe you let me use that photograph for a post or for something, because it's just such a good idea to talk about a beautiful day and to represent it in you never think of, I am going to disguise myself as a beautiful day. Uh, so I was working on the video, and it was last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever I did it. And it was late at night, and I was like, I had actually asked her, would you let me use it for a song that I am working on? And she said, yeah, I will send it to you later. And I was working on that night thinking, what am I going to put here? I need the human presence. And ding, my telephone came up, and there was a message from her. And she had sent me the 2 photographs. I ended up using only one, the one that is a close up, and she has the headpiece. And it was, I was just like, that is what I want to put in this precise place. So that is,
That's great.
yeah, serendipity. And she's so pretty. She's a lovely lady, and like a sunshine, like you're talking about, no, like a blue sky. Like she's always in a very nice light mood, and I feel like it was perfect.
It is perfect.
Yeah.
So are you excited about the album? And
Definitely. I mean, it's been a couple, I think some of the oldest songs that we've worked on are a couple years old. So it's really
Wow.
like kind of a long form process. And
Right.
we had probably over 40 songs that we kind of
Yeah.
picked from. So this is like the cream of the crop in terms of our creative process. And yeah, definitely. I'm excited mostly just for people to hear what we've been working on, right? It's like you have these things and that you're proud of that no one really knows about until they're out, right? And so now that we have that opportunity, it's going to feel really good.
So now, so this is, we're not in your space, so we don't know
Yeah.
how this works, but like, how does it get released? I mean, do you have marketing? Do you have, I mean, how does it get released to the
That's a
world?
great question. So we have a distributor,
Uh-huh.
and we upload our songs
Right.
with our art, and then that through the distributor, they put it on all the different platforms, on Spotify and on Apple Music, and we upload it to all the different like YouTube and stuff, right?
Right.
And then from there, you make submissions to get placed in different kind of like um, playlists and kind of different places. But I think really the most important thing is connecting with communities that are maybe interested in the song. I mean, that's what
Right.
led us to you, because I think it's
Right.
like who is gonna like this song? Well, I think people that like daydreaming or are thinking about love, but also I think that it like should resonate with people that like origami too, right? And so like this
Yeah.
in a way is just like this song makes me feel something, and trying to find as many people that we can share that feeling with is how I think we can make the song the most successful. So
It's definitely got the what a day for a daydream kind of feel to it, for sure. I hope it gets as big.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and I think yeah, like Rand said, like there's really not a lot of songs about origami. So I think people
First
that
one
love
I know about.
origami in theory should really like the song. But I think it's, even if you don't like origami, I think the song is just as a good song. And one thing that's cool about our album, and this is a little bit of insider info here, but is the album starts out with origami. It's the very first song, and it's also the very first single. And it's, a song about daydreaming and love, and kind of wishing and hoping for that love, and thinking about love and this person, this imaginary person in your mind, while you're having this great, beautiful day. And then the last song on the album is a song called Porti, which is a collaboration we did with this Spanish singer, and half the song is in Spanish, half the song is in English. The chorus I sing Spanish with her, and it's like a love song. And so it's kind of like a nice wrap, because you have this experience, this daydreaming, all this, and then the album ends with a very sweet love song about just being with someone that you really appreciate and like. So I think it's a nice
it takes the dream and brings it to the reality over 15 songs.
So
Excellent. Yeah. Well, that was one of the themes that I was thinking of when doing the video, is how to make the little dream into a reality, how to represent the reality of it, of getting together, of, yes, there is somebody for me, there is somebody out there in the world for me that I can get together with. And that's why I put several couples, several little creatures coming together.
Yeah. And Becca, how is Becca feeling about it? And
I think she's excited for the song to come out. I mean, as a songwriter, and I've been in this position because you go and you write with these other artists, and then it's kind of like in their hands, right? Like we could have released the song the day after we wrote it, right? But like there were some different production changes and things that we've been doing, and obviously we have the album, and so I think she's excited to have the song come out, as are we.
Now, is she a vocalist? Does she
She
do
does sing
vocals on
too,
some
yeah.
of your pieces? I've been following your Instagram channel. So
Yeah, she's done vocals on background vocals, at least on some of our songs, and she's a great singer too.
Yeah,
So
I'm wondering, I'm trying to think of does she do background vocals on anything on our album? I don't think so. On this
not
one.
on her album, but there's a song called Call Now Buy Now where she has some background vocals, and she's just a great singer in general. So check her out. Her name's Becca Kruger.
Becca Kruger. Okay.
That's great.
She's writing a book too, I think, right?
Yeah.
I keep seeing on her Twitter, she's like writing some like drama, like teen drama book or something. So hopefully she has good luck with that.
You have this album coming up, and it's not like the old times as when we were growing up that you would get a disc. You're saying there are distribution channels, and somebody makes sure that each one of these things gets out there. So how do you make your money? How do you earn from this?
So there's a lot of ways that artists make money now, and it's not really as like the old way of selling CDs. Although I think we are planning on making a vinyl version of our album to sell once the album comes out. But you make money from your streams, and you also make money from placements of your song on television and movies and stuff like that. So we're hoping that Origami gets placed in a lot of kind of daydream kind of feels,
Yeah, and touring obviously too.
And touring, yes, of course.
Yeah.
So
you have plans for a tour?
I think that once our album is out, we're definitely going to be doing more shows for sure.
I think step one is like we've spent so much time on this album. We're really this year, our main goal, I think Rand would agree, is like pushing the album and trying to get it out there to as many people as possible. Because we have fans obviously, but you want to get more people that can find your music, because I think a lot of people are always looking for new music and new artists. And since this is our first, our debut album, we really want to bring people in that will enjoy what we do. And then from there, I think maybe after that, once we have spent enough time promoting the album, I think then we'll probably do some shows and some tour dates.
Excellent. I want to ask a question about the vinyl disc. It seems to me I have seen other people doing that again. Is that something that is having like a rewind or a renaissance or something like that? What is going on with that?
Jason probably could speak to vinyl just as well as I can. I think there's something about having a physical representation of something of a piece of art that you like, right? I think it allows for, like all of our songs have a really cool visual component to it that are like kind of album art as you would call it. And I think that it allows for people to have that physical representation of the art, and the sound of vinyl is always really great too.
Yeah. And another thing that I like to ask you is you talk about rhythms like cumbia or like bossa nova, Latin American rhythms. Who are your inspiration? Who are your source of, who do you look up to? Who
Yeah.
is that for you?
I think we both have quite a few inspirations. I think in general, for myself, I'm just like a fan of music. Like in general, like I listen to everything. I don't really care the genre. I just like good stuff. So we both have a friend, Igor, who's a very good producer and DJ and um great guy. And literally I would say like probably 2 3 times a week we're always texting each other just random songs that we listen to that we really like. And I think it just, when you really love music you can draw inspiration from a lot of different things. Like I'm sure for you guys, like just being creative people as well, it's like you listen to a song, you see a painting, like anything can be inspirational. And I think growing up, for me, like certain things will always have a little bit more importance just because when you first discover things when you're like a kid or growing up, it can mean a little bit more to you. So my uncle was like in this blues band back in the day, and he turned me on to a lot of blues music. So as a guitar player, I love the blues, and I think it's like a very um important kind of art form for the guitar, because blues music is not like crazy complex, but it's all about these little like intricate things, and it's about the emotion. And like no one who plays guitar would say that like BB King is like the most technical guitar player, but he is a great player and he is very good with like how he plays and his phrasing. And so I think when you like play that genre of music, you get a really good appreciation for um feeling and soul. So I think I'm really into a lot of like um that era, like 50s, 60s, 70s, like American music, mostly like soul, blues, funk, like in that realm. But I also love as a guitar player, I love jazz and I love bossa nova. So like all the classic, Gialberto and all those kind of guys. I just love all those old bossa nova standards. And we have one song on our album. I'm just giving it all away here,
That's okay. We won't
but
tell anyone.
we have a song that we wrote, which will be cool if people are watching this, because I think the song will probably come out in the summer, right, Rand, for
Yeah.
Guy Named Jesus. So we wrote
Yep.
this song called Guy Named Jesus, with our friend Tammy who's singing. And I think it's a really cool song concept because I wrote these like pretty jazzy chords that I thought were cool, but I thought they were too jazzy, right? I was like, this is like, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I was playing it and Rand was like, no, he's like, we should do something with this. And I was like, are you sure? It's literally like, I
It's
mean, if you listen to the
very,
song,
very jazzy chords.
a lot of chords. But the thing is like, we kind of took these chords that are very, very bossa nova. I mean, there's like all sorts of, like diminished chords and all sorts of shit. But like it was cool because we took those and then we kind of like formulated that into a more pop sound, and it's a really cool dichotomy. And I think that's a really great example of bringing in something like bossa nova and then making it more accessible to like normal people. And I think Rand, he did a good job of like recognizing that like just because it's maybe more jazzy or more outside the norm doesn't mean you can't like fit it into something that works.
And I mean, it's played on nylon string guitar, and it sounds like it's straight out of Rio, which is why the song being called "A Guy Named Jesus." It's about being in Rio, and that everywhere you go, you can see the Christ the Redeemer statue, whether you're on the beach or you're walking down the street. And so it's like this guy is always there hanging out with you.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the inspiration was we wanted to write a song about personifying the Christ the Redeemer statue. So the chorus is basically it's I know a guy named Jesus, and it's kind of like that statue is like your friend every time you're going back to Rio. Is like he's there, he's waiting for you to say hi. And so It's interesting because I do think people maybe won't get, some people won't get the song, will think it's like literally just a very Christian song or something, but like
Mm,
I think which is great, you know, like everyone, we love when people have their own takes on songs. That's the whole point of songwriting, is for people to take what they want to
right.
take. But we did write the song about yeah, personifying the Christ the Redeemer statue, and it's really interesting because it's I mean, we talk about basically like he's like your old friend. I think in verse 1, we're just literally like, you're arriving back in Brazil and you see your old friend there, and then it's kind of this conversation between this person and the statue, and you're like inviting them to this thing, and then you're asking them like, would you, you know, give up your place up there in the clouds if you would have one day on the beach in Ipanema, you know. And it's just it's a cool song, and I think like lyrically and everything, we're really proud of it. So I'm excited for everyone to eventually hear that one too, which will I
We
think
can
come
send
out
you
in the
guys
summer.
we can send
Yeah,
you
we'll send it to you
a
guys.
private link so
Love to
you
hear
can
it.
listen.
Yeah.
So is that
Yeah.
going to be released as a single or part of another?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
planning on doing like 7 or 8 singles. And the way that like music releases work now is it really does help to release a song individual, as many songs as you can individually, because that gives
Sure.
people, the audience, time to kind of digest it. And then after 7 or 8 singles, we'll release our album all together with about 8 or 9 more songs. So
Right.
it's just
Right.
kind of like a ramp up, you know, and this is the
Right.
first step in the ramp up.
Now, do you have a publicist or somebody
We
who is
don't have a
helping?
publicist.
No,
No,
you
we're
don't.
our own publicists. Yeah.
You're wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We have to do that nowadays.
Yeah. I think that I mean, we care more than anybody that we're gonna hire to be our publicist at this moment. I think that at some point
Exactly.
it might make sense, but for now, I think just like this is a real connection that we've made, you know, like we're a fan of your work, and it seems like you guys like our music, and I think that
Love
like
it.
this
Yeah.
this would have never happened had you know, it hadn't been us like feeling a connection to your work and then it all coming together. So I think it's worked out great so far.
It is.
It's just amazing how people find each other, you know. It never ceases to amaze me how things happen. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and for me, working with the song and working with the images, it it was delightful, and it grew in me in a way that I got so excited, and it was like 3 days in which I dove into making this video, and I got into the flow. That idea that you just cannot see this done, and
Yeah.
how else can I move the pieces here, and what else can we do? So it was it took me a little time to get moving, but then once I started, it was a lot of fun.
That's how I feel making music. There's so many instruments and pieces and vocals and things that you have to kind of like move around to fit perfectly together, right? And then once you're done, you stand back and you're like very satisfied with how things come together. Or, you know, if it doesn't work, then you try again. That's part
Yes,
of the process.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. So when you contacted us, I remember you said, well, put the music to folding paper or to something, no? Like, can you do something?
Yeah.
What were you expecting? What did you have in mind? I didn't ask you. I
I don't
should
really
have
know.
asked, but
I think we left it pretty open-ended because I think like part of great art comes from the artist having the agency to do what comes in their mind, right? Like I think there were so many different things that could work that it was kind of like what do you think is going to work, right?
so
It
in
was
order
kind of like Christmas, right? Like Christmas, you know,
Right.
opening.
when so you are expecting to release this mm, uh, middle of this month, and I didn't want to release the video before you do release your song. uh, what would you like it to happen? What would you like it, how would you like us to release this?
Well, the song comes out a week from today when we're recording this. So I think anytime after it's out, I think
Great.
we're just happy to have people enjoy your amazing videos and your art and our art at the same time. And I think our fans will really enjoy it, and we hope that your fans like like our music too. So
Are you going to
Yeah.
release the video with the song, or how is, or
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. If you put out the video on February 16th when the song is out, I think it'll be great. We can send people your way and say, hey, here's our song. Check out this video. I think
great?
that's how it all works, right? It's like we have fans and we have people that like our music that we know will like your videos, right? And vice versa. I think that's what's beautiful about it.
So what's the time on the 16th? Are you going to release it at 9 in the morning, or do you
I
have
think
any idea?
it's going to come out the Thursday before at midnight Pacific, or
East
no,
Coast.
midnight Eastern, right? Not our songs usually come out at 9 p.m. Pacific on the night before. So it would actually
Yeah,
be February 15th at 9 p.m. Pacific,
yeah.
midnight
Well, it's
Eastern
it's
time.
like it's based East Coast time, yeah. So it's like literally at 12:01 on all the platforms. It will be like live. So
Okay,
on the
on the
West Coast
16th.
we get it a little early, which is
Right.
nice.
Okay. All right.
But
So now we know. So how can people find you, and how can they hear your music, and which platforms are you on, so we can let people know where to go and how to follow you?
I think we are on pretty much every platform. We are Limon Music.
With an accent or without the accent?
I think on social media it doesn't do accents really anyways. So
Okay.
but our name does have an accent in it. But on Spotify we're just Limon. But pretty much everything else, if you search Limon Music or Limon, we should pop up there.
You'll find us.
Instagram
Yeah.
is at Limon Music.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube at Limon Music, same thing. So and then we're on every streaming platform. So if you're on Apple, Tidal, whatever you use, we're on everything. And we have music out now, of course, that's older music. And then February 16th is when Origami comes out. So definitely make sure to check it out when that is available.
We really appreciate that you contacted us, and it's been a lot of fun to make
Really
the
a lot of
project
fun.
together. Yes.
Well, we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our song and really incorporate all your beautiful work. I mean, it's just such a cool collaboration and pairing. So really grateful that you guys took that time, and that's what this is all about. Like that's why we make music, is to make people feel something and feel inspired. So it makes us feel like we're doing our jobs right.
Yeah.
We look forward to following your career, and hope it really takes off.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Doing this project was rewarding, and we wish Limon great success. Take a listen and let us know what you think. Also, be sure to check out Limon contact information in the description.
Sitting by myself, staring at the sky, hearing all the people passing by. Weekend at the park, losing track of time. Got you on my mind. Daydream, you and me, so much I can see. Like we're 17 and young forever. Sunshine, grass is green, springtime in the breeze. Make believe memories of us together. Made an origami on a Sunday afternoon, hoping it'll tell me everything about you, about you, about you. Wonder if I got a future with you. Made an origami on a Sunday afternoon, hoping it'll tell me everything about you. If you were here right now, I'd be in the clouds. Nothing in the world could ever bring me down. But if I have to wait, I could pass the days, imagining the way you say my name. Daydream, you and me, so much I can see. Like Doing origami on a Sunday afternoon, hoping it'll tell me everything about you, about you, about you. Wonder if I got a future with you.